Hi, I'm Chef Sueson Vess. 2020 has certainly had its challenges for all of us, but we as survivors are always up for the challenge and ready to overcome whatever obstacles life throws at us. So welcome to Duke Cancer Institute's Survivorship Cooking Demonstration, Home Edition. And welcome to my kitchen. And from the comfort of your home and mine, let's talk about food. So food is my favorite thing to talk about, and I want to talk about how we can eat foods with benefits and how we can eat foods to build our immunity to become an unwelcome host to viruses and disease. So whether you are a survivor, a supporter, or a struggler, wherever you are today is a good day to look at the possibilities of eating foods with benefits, foods that love you back. So welcome to my probably scariest cooking class that I've done yet, because I'm going to talk about eating liver. And what I want to say is I want to take the ew out of eating liver. So liver is an incredibly beneficial food, and those of us who eat meat often eat muscle meat only. So the muscle meat is good, it's a complete protein, but organ meats, liver, heart, kidney, these have nutrients that you can only get from those particular organs. It's an interesting thing. In the wild, when a lion, for example, might eat an animal, the first thing it's going for is the heart, because it knows that's where all the nutrients are, just naturally. So we go for this muscle meat because it tastes good, and a burger is good, and a steak is good, and a chicken is good. But liver, it has special nutrients, and it has a higher amount of vitamin A and B and choline. It's a great source of nutrients. So, but it has to taste good. And if you had liver fed to you as a child, or you smelled it and you didn't like it, you may be turned off on liver, and I want to turn you back on to liver because it is really a beneficial and yummy food. And one of the easiest ways that I think to enjoy liver is to make a liver pate. So I've already made this for you, and you can see this beautiful little loaf of liver pate, and I made this using chicken livers. So I started with bacon because it's bacon, and who doesn't love bacon? I just take 4 strips of bacon and I cut them up first and I saute them. Then I add some onion and garlic and I let that get nice and soft. I'm going to add some fresh herbs or dried, whatever you want. It has fresh rosemary, sage, and thyme. I think there's a song about that. I just needed to add parsley. Anyway, you add all of that, and then the chicken livers cook for really about 3 or 4 minutes. They just go in, they get nice, and you want them to be brown all around. They can be a little pink in the middle, that's okay. And then I deglaze the whole thing by adding a little bit of a dry wine. So don't use a cooking wine because cooking wines have a lot of salt in them. But any, whether it's white or dry wine, you're just gonna add a little bit to it, and you're going to cook it. And when you add that wine, it's my favorite smell. So I don't really drink wine. I don't drink wine, but I love to cook with spirits and wine, and even with beer, gluten-free beer. So when you cook with wine and you add that to a pan, the aroma is amazing. But you know that aroma, and it smells like alcohol. And so you cook that till you don't have that strong alcohol smell. It's really about 30 seconds. It's less than a minute till that alcohol cooks away. And that's it. So we take those ingredients and you put it in a food processor and you grind it all up until it's just a creamy, smooth pate. So I took this small glass container, I lined it with some plastic wrap, and I put my pate in there, which when it first comes out of the food processor, it's a lot more liquidy, not too liquidy, but it's not sliceable. So you put that and you refrigerate it overnight, and then you end up with this lovely loaf that's delicious. So This is obviously gluten and dairy free, but I want to talk to you because you're going to add to it some fat. And as the recipe says, you can either use coconut oil or ghee. So coconut oil, whenever you're using coconut oil, you want to make sure that it is ethically sourced. You want to make sure that it is the words that they use are cold pressed virgin coconut oil, which isn't going to taste overwhelmingly coconutty, and it's going to retain a good saturated fat level that helps to firm this pate up. Or the other thing you can use is ghee. So I make my own ghee because it's really easy, and I just have the time to do it. And now that we're all sheltering in place, you could all make your own ghee. And I use organic butter, and I just cook it low and slow. And in that process, the lactose, the whey, the casein are all separated, and all you have left is the butter fat, the butter oil, and it's clear and it's now shelf stable. So I use both ghee and coconut oil as my favorite saturated fats to use when I'm cooking with oil. So how are you going to eat this? Now you can eat it on crackers, and I put some on a cracker just so you could try that. One of the crackers that I like are these Mary's Gone crackers that are really seedy. First time I tasted it, I felt like I must be eating bird seed. But actually it's grown on me and I like them. But the other thing you can do is just put it on sliced vegetables. One of my favorite cracker alternatives is jicama, which is kind of a brown ball that you see in the grocery store. And when you peel that thick brown coating off of it, the skin off of it, you get this white, firm fleshed vegetable. Sometimes they call it a Mexican potato. But jicama has the highest source of inulin, which is this great beneficial prebiotic fiber. And so I use it, I slice it thin, and I use it in place of crackers. It kind of tastes like between an apple and a water chestnut. It's not as sweet as an apple, but it's not quite as savory as a water chestnut. It's a great cracker alternative if you want to be totally grain-free. I hope that this is good for you and that you are inspired to try to put liver back in your diet. It's just one of the most beneficial proteins that you can add. So thank you again for joining me. Look for other fun cooking videos on Duke Cancer Institute's survivorship page on their website. Until then, wishing you all good health and good food. And eat more foods with benefits. Bye-bye.